Hey, what's up, Fishmas? You're the first one today. So, I had a little bit of a connection problem. Streamlabs had an update, so I had to update it. That's why we're here in pick one. The first pick wasn't interesting. It was Voracious Great Shark by miles. Now we have a really interesting pick between Zenith Flare and Archipelagore. Zenith Flare is certainly a lot better than Archipelagore, and blue is a good color to play with cycling decks. But Archipelagore is a first pickable broken on common to go with Voracious Great Shark. I guess for Zenith Flare, we're supposed to do cycling. If that was a Fox and an Archipelagore, I would certainly take Archipelagore. But when it's a card as good as Zenith Flare, that's probably what we're supposed to do. Oh, no, yeah, I didn't have any trouble joining the draft. Streamlabs had an update. So, I got home right before 4, but, I had to update Streamlabs was the real problem. But anyways, so first pick was Great Shark by miles. Second pick, which you saw, was Zenith Flare or Archipelagore, which I thought was interesting following Great Shark. But Zenith Flare is just so broken. The next best cycling card is Fox, and if it was Fox, I would have took the Archipelagore. Now there's Mythos, which, you can play a green tap duel, but isn't going to be the best in a Jeskai cycling deck. I think Snare Tactician or Trumpeting Nard's what we're looking at. I really do want to cut off cycling. I don't force cycling by any means. Everybody who watches me draft knows that. But we're not talking about opening a Snare Tactician. We're not talking about even a Fox. We have Zenith Flare, a top 5 card in the set and totally busted. And Jeskai is great cycling. There's nothing wrong with that. We can play Voracious Great Shark. Look, if we go just right white-red, if we don't see fixing, if we don't see blue, and we have to drop a Great Shark, so be it. Great Shark's a really good card, but nowhere near as good as Zenith Flare. But if we do go Jeskai cycling, all the better. And I do want to cut it off. There were no cycling cards that are meaningful in the pack with Voracious Great Shark. I'm not sure if there was a Draneth Healer, but there wasn't a cycling on common or anything. Like I said, I know y'all missed the first pick, which was my fault. Streamlabs was updating. The first pick was Great Shark by miles. It wasn't close. There was nothing to consider. It was just easy Great Shark. Second pick was Zenith Flare Archipelagore, which was a tough pick, I think, following a Great Shark. Pick one, pack one, I would snap take Zenith Flare. But Archipelagore is a first pick broken on common. So, following a good blue rare, first pickable blue rare, more of an A tier than an S tier. It's not super broken Voracious Great Shark, but it is first pickable. Then I thought Archipelagore Zenith Flare was a tough pick. But after going with the Flare, I think I want to take the Tactician third. I think we're going to try and cut off cycling. It is the best archetype. We did get the best card for the best archetype here with Zenith Flare. I'm having a pretty good Friday. How about you? I played too much Standard yesterday, and after this draft, I'm going to get back to Standard for the Arena Open, which I hope everybody will check out. Listen, there's plenty to like and plenty to dislike about OP, but, this is an exciting development. Being able to play a serious cash tournament on the weekend, I would love to see an Arena Open every weekend, just as a standard tournament that they run on Arena every single weekend. Then maybe they could tie in a point system and qualify for bigger and better things or something, right? Let's move competitive play online. Obviously, when COVID is gone, then we would like to have competitive play in person and online. But for right now, let's have a real competitive play system online with a weekly tournament that feeds things and gives you levels and, So I'm excited about that. Okay, anyway, there's no cards here that are really good for cycling. There's not really any cards that are good for anything, though. We could take Rugged Highlands in case we end up wanting a green splash. We could take a 2-color on Crystal. I think the Caprador is kind of interesting. I probably won't even end up playing it, but if we do end up with 3 Divine Arrows or something, it can be a pretty busted card. So since that pack had no cycling cards, no cards that matter, no cycling 1 cards, no cards that matter, I think I'm going to pick up the Caprador just on the off chance that we end up with 3 Divine Arrows and it ends up broken. I don't think it's a very good card, and I think it's unlikely it'll end up making my deck, but it does have good synergy with a few cards, like Divine Arrow. Alright, let's see. Fight as 1 is pretty good in the cycling deck. You have some humans, some non-humans. Unpredictable Cyclone I don't really like. I pretty much would never cast this. It's just a random 2-mana cycler. Caves is a land that I'll play sometimes, but we're already looking at blue, not black as a potential third color mana-wise. I think this is just Fight as 1. And last pod, I beat LVD in the finals, so hopefully same passing to me, same result we'll take it, right? Nothing too exciting here. Lava Serpent, better than Shredded Sails, both are fine. They're actually two of the more useful castable 2-mana cyclers. Sometimes this kills a flyer or an artifact, sometimes you play it as a 5/5 haste. My basic guideline for the cycling deck is any 1-mana cycler is good, and usually better than just about any 2-mana cycler. But for a 2-mana cycler, you just want it to be something castable on color, like Lava Serpent, Shredded Sails, etc. So, like, Lava Serpent and Shredded Sails, I'll take pretty much any amount of for a cycling deck, because they're split cards. Either 2-mana cycle, or 6-mana 5/5 haste, or 2-mana deal 4 to a flyer, or destroy an artifact. That said, 1-mana cyclers, whatever. Memory Leak, no black sources in the deck, it's still an early pick, and I'll usually take it over Lava Serpent, depending on how many cycling enablers we have. Here, there's a 1-mana cycler that's castable. I don't cast this card often, but once in a while. But ultimately, it's just a 1-mana cycler, so that makes it an easy pick. An on-color 1-mana cycler. This pick's just not close. My next choice of this pack would be like Blade Banish or something. So while we're not seeing a ton of great cycling stuff, we did just get an 8th pick 1-mana cycler, a 7th pick 2-mana cycler that's a pretty good 2-mana cycler. So we cut off cycling really well. There were no cycling cards in the first pack that y'all missed because I was updating Streamlabs with the Voracious Great Shark. And then we took Zenith Flare, we took Tactician. I don't think I passed any Tacticians, any Foxes, any Thundermanes, anything. So hopefully we'll get rewarded with a strong pack too. So these are best of 3s, so I could take Clash as a sideboard card. Otherwise, Hampering Snare, if I do play blue, is a pretty good 2-mana cycler. It's a spell, so it fuels Wolverines, or like Blitz, if we get those. Spells matter cards. And if we do have Islands in our deck, which might or might not happen, then it's actually a pretty castable card. So I think I'm going to go with Hampering Snare. If we don't end up with Wolverines or Islands in our deck, we probably wouldn't even play an off-color 2-mana cycling. But if we do end up with Spells Matter cards plus Islands, you cast this card sometimes. Fog their attack and then on tap and Zenith Flare them, or just they attack with a 4/4, you block with your 4/4 and Hampering Snare or whatever. Okay, as I talked about, Shredded Sails, one of the better 2-mana cyclers. People play flyers. This is a removal spell against a flyer. 4 damage kills almost any flyer. It also combos with that Caprador. We could deal 4 to our own Caprador, and then the 4 is prevented, and it turns into a 5/7 flyer. Now listen, I'm not going to play the Caprador because I have 1 Shredded Sails. But it's only pack 1. Maybe we'll end up with 3 Shredded Sails. It's a cycling card. I have Zenith Flare and Snare Tactician, and hopefully I'll get more cycling enablers. So, I mean, we could end up playing 3 Shredded Sails very easily if we see them. In which case, then I'll play Caprador. Alright, now I'm going to grab Clash for the sideboard over Garrison Cat and basically nothing. I'd almost never main Clash anymore in this format. I do board it in. If my opponent has Death Touch creatures, then Clash tends to be pretty good against them. So, because, with a Death Touch creature, you're killing both creatures every single time. Because Death Touch creatures pretty much never are very big. And then Death Touch works during the Clash fight. So, if you see, like, your opponent has 2 Death Touch creatures, then Clash is just amazing against them. Okay, I don't think these cards actually matter. I think it was a really interesting second pick. First pick, Voracious Great Shark. Like I said, it was over virtually nothing. It was a clear choice. Second pick was Archipelagor or Zenith Flare after first picking Voracious Great Shark. Like I said, I think I would have took Archipelagor, which I think is a very good card, over even Flourishing Fox, the second best cycling card. But I just couldn't pass the Flare. So blue, blue, red. So we can play this if we play enough islands, but it is double blue. If this was 2 red and 1 blue, I'd feel a lot better about it. And we also have to have things to mutate onto, which we don't have much of. But there's no good cycling enablers. There's not really anything good for us in this pack. We kind of got screwed here. This pack's just horrible for us. We could take, like, Porcupine Parrot, which I guess we would probably just take a Luna. We could take Forbidden Friendship, which can be okay. I mean, this pack is horrible. Coordinated Charge, a castable 2-mana cycler. I mean, I wouldn't hate draft it so much as take it because we still have Voracious Great Shark. So, and we might play blue if we get the fixers. I mean, right now I couldn't put this card in my deck, but you know, it's definitely possible we'll draft creatures we can mutate onto, and this is a pretty broken card. I don't want to take it. I would take Memory Leak over a Luna here. There's just no 1-mana cycler in this whole pack. There's no cycling commons or red removal or white removal. Like, we just got totally screwed in this pack. Yeah, we could play blue-white cycling and light splash red. It's definitely possible. Voracious Great Shark is excellent. We'll just have to see where the draft sends us. You can just play Jeskai, basically. I mean, cycling is a deck that can very easily be 3 colors. You want to get a little bit of fixing, which we currently have none, but it is only the start of pack 2. Okay, pretty easy Dragon Stinger here, I think. It's a 1-mana cycler. Even if we go blue-white splash red, we're going to have some red sources. It's a 1-mana cycler. It's basically just a great free roll card. I'm taking it over pacifism in the cycling deck every day of the week. No matter what, even if we end up with the blue-white flyer sub-theme and some mutate and stuff, we have Zenith Flare. We're not passing good 1-mana cyclers ever. That's awesome, Purry. Congratulations on the 7-0. Yeah, I have a Discord. I don't personally use Discord a ton, but my Discord's pretty active as far as other people sharing decks, all the regulars from my stream and stuff like that. I hopefully slowly will get more into it, but I never used Discord before last year, like a single time in my life. So I'm not just super active on there, but if you want to check it out, I do have a Discord. All the regs from the stream are in there. Well, not all, obviously, but a lot of the regs from the stream are in there answering questions and sharing their decks and cool things like that. Well, we wanted to do Jeskai anyway. Inspired Ultimatum is very good. We're gonna have to start drafting fixers like it's nobody's business. I mean, the cycling deck digs up its lands with all the colorless cycling, which almost all the cycling is colorless in this set. But we need some fixing. That said, I'm not going to take the Evolving Wilds and hope to get another Inspired Ultimatum. I'm going to take the Inspired Ultimatum, and now I'll just start prioritizing Dual Lands and Evolving Wilds and Farfinders. I mean, Voracious Great Shark is a great card. No pun intended. Iluna's a great card, too. I don't know if we'll be able to cast it or not. We need things to mutate onto, which the cycling deck is not the best at. Sometimes it has them. Marmoset can be mutated onto. Fox can be mutated onto. Forbidden Friendship's a playable card because it's cheap. It helps gum up the board. Wolverine is fine in this deck and can be mutated onto. And Double Strike on a 6/6 flying trample is a pretty big game. So, I mean, we'll just have to see what we end up getting. I would definitely play a Jeskai Crystal. This is the Mardu Crystal, which may make our deck. It's still 2 of our 3 colors, and it has cycling too. But it may not. I don't have it as an auto-include. Okay, well, that's second ultimatum. Now, to be clear, this is where people go, oh my god, cards like just Inspired Ultimatum here don't get better in multiples. Now, it's fine to play 2 copies of it in your deck. I'm going to take it. The second copy's still good. But the second copy is worse than the first copy in your deck. Not better. Just to be clear. But that solidifies us on the 3-color deck. We've got a Luna, blue, red to mutate. We've got Great Shark. Now we have 2 Inspired Ultimatums. Let's just draft all the fixing we can from here. And we'll try and play a controlling Jeskai cycling deck, right? Thank you, the Dreadlord. Appreciate that subscription. I mean, I'm obviously not worried about decking. This is a powerful card, Zenith Flare. Like, we should be able to close. I'm worried about fixing. I want Jeskai Dual Lands. I want Evolving Wilds. I want Farfinders. I want them all badly now. Any crystal that's Jeskai for sure. If it's not going to be Jeskai, I would prefer it have green in it so I can maybe cast a Luna, but I might play the Save Crystal. Still going to prioritize 1-mana cyclers quite highly. That helps dig through your deck, cast your ultimatums, make your land drops. Like here, we can take Dranith Healer. But from here, we mostly just want like 1-mana cyclers and fixers. There's a chance to run more than 40, but it shouldn't be necessary. Again, I'm not really worried about decking. I should be able to close the game here. I would not take Reunion over a 1-mana cycler. Reunion is a good card for this deck. I will play Reunion, certainly. But I would take Memory Leak over Reunion. Yes, I don't know why Swallow Hole's in the 2-drop slot. That's weird. Yorion in pack 3? Yeah, if we open Yorion and we have enough playables, then I'd consider going more than 40. But Yorion's hard to make work. Like, if you have enough playables, like, sure, I can toss the Save Crystal in the deck, no problem. But it's really not that easy to get a 60-card deck in Limited and have all your cards be solid playables. Obviously, with the cycling deck, I'm not worried if I draw my Drana Stinger a little later, cycle, I'll find my Inspired Ultimatums, whether I'm playing 40 or 60. But the thing is, I can't play bad cards. I don't want to toss just, like, you know, unplayable cards into my deck and then draw them. So this pack has no cycling cards and basically no playables. Blade Banish it is. Why no healer over the first Ultimatum? Because Ultimatum is just a way more powerful card, and I already had Voracious Great Shark and Illuna, so I already wanted to be a Jeskai and not a White Red if possible, would be the answer. No, Glider kind of sucks. I know it's something to mutate onto, but I still only have one mutate card, and I could just not even play a Luna if I don't pick up, like, a green source or two for free, like a dual land, or something like that. I don't want to play Glider. I'm not saying it's impossible I would play that card in this deck, but I wouldn't be happy about it. Sanctuary Lockdown can be a little better, but I don't think this is the deck for it. I mean, we have a healer and a stinger and a tactician, but we also have the 2 ultimatums, and we're looking for non-humans potentially for Luna. Yes, I know the Glider's a non-human, but I also think that card just sucks in this deck. I don't think we're really going to use any of these. So it's, do we take Sandworm as a 2-mana off-color cycler, or do we take Sanctuary Lockdown? I guess you never know, so I'm going to take Lockdown. I don't expect to play Lockdown. I'm going to move it right to the sideboard. But what if we happen to get, like, 2 Valiant Rescuers? Then I'm going to play Lockdown for sure. It's a human that makes human tokens galore. So I'm going to take the Lockdown just in case. I mean, you know, we might end up getting, like, you know, 3 more humans and a Valiant Rescuer or something, in which case I might play it. This pack again sucks for us, but we can take another Caprador. If we do get the things that deal damage, like Shredded Sails and Divine Arrows, then it's also something that can be mutated onto with this Illuna here for blue-blue-red. We really need fixing. Like, this isn't like a traditional ultimatum deck. Like, half your cards say just cycle, so, like, it's fine to not have a ton of fixing, but you can't really have none. I need to pick up, like, a Farfinder, an Evolving Wilds, a couple dual lands. Like, we're getting towards the back of pack 2, and I have 0 fixers. That's kind of scary. Oh yeah, Ultimatum does work well with Caprador. Good point. Ultimatum my own Caprador. Prevent the 5. No, it's not a good sideboard card against red removal. People just don't have that many of their cards that kill creatures in Limited. It's not like Constructed or something like that. Okay, here I'm going to grab Migration Path. It's a 2-color cycler, but with these ultimatums, there's a non-zero chance I'll play this card. I already didn't hate the idea of having, like, a forest or some green duels in my deck because of Illuna. If I could pick up, like, 2 green duels, or even just 1, remember, this card cycles for colorless. But if I have a blue-green duel or red-green duel or white-green duel and I cast Migration Path, we might be looking at turn 5 ultimatums here. Remember, I'm playing it because it has 2 colorless cycling. If this card didn't have cycling, I would never splash it for fixing. If this cycled even for a green and 1, I would never play it. It's a 2-colorless cycling spell. Off-color cyclers aren't good, but if I ever cast it off like a green duel or something, that could be broken with double ultimatum. I don't have any green duels. I'm hoping to get some. I'm hoping to get any on-color duels at this point. I mean, my deck's power level is solidified. Pack 3, I'm mostly interested in fixing. I'm going to be taking Evolving Wilds and Farfinder and Dual Lands very aggressively next pack. Yeah, it's Sight and Light of Hope. If we see the opponent has, like, good enchantment targets or something like that. I'd pretty much never main Light of Hope. But it's a flexible card. If they don't draw their enchantment, you can use it for life or a +1/+1 counter. And if you see they have 2 good enchantments you want to kill, you can board in your Light of Hope. Well, Fire Prophecy is kind of fixing too. I might take Farfinder or Evolving Wilds over it. I probably wouldn't take like a green-blue duel over it or something like that. That could end up being a tough pick. I mean, it's going to be tough if I see like good 1-mana cyclers with the fixing. Obviously, I'll take like a fixer over a Lava Serpent right now. Not even a decision. If it's Dragon Stinger or a fixer, that could be a tough call. But I have to take fixing really aggressively if this deck's going to end up working. But as I said, the green splash thing is more just cute. It's a Jeskai deck. So I'm hoping to table that, but I'm not going to be taking Thornwood Falls over Skycat Sovereign and over Drannith Healer. Now, Skycat Sovereign looks pretty good. We even have some flyers and can be mutated onto, and we're blue-white. And it's potentially a broken rare. But a 1-mana cycler, kind of what this deck needs and does. We have a really powerful late game. This might be one of the only Jeskai cycling decks where I actually like Healer even more than Stinger, I think. Because gaining life is more valuable than dealing damage when you have double ultimatum to win the game with effectively. You just want to live. The cat is pretty busted, but I think the pick is Healer. This is a deck that can close. We don't need a closer. We're not worried about spending our mana. Cycle, 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 ultimatum. Refill our hand. I think the right pick here is Drannith Healer. Sorry, Lyra. Sorry, Cats. You know I love you, but I gotta draft my deck. I'm trying to win this streamer draft. Thank you, Dangle. Appreciate the 17 months of support, as well as all the help with the stream and everything you do for us. Glad you got one of those first subscriber badges, and thanks again for everything you've done for this stream. Also, just for being a dope friend since I've gotten to know you since I moved to South Florida. Okay, let's see. So now there's a blue-red duel, which is good fixing. There's a 1-mana cycler, 2-mana cycling serpent. Like I said, we got to take fixers aggressively with this deck. It would be a tough pick with like Healer or Stinger or Swiftwater Cliffs, but I think we can afford to take Swiftwater Cliffs over Startling Development. Look, 1-mana cyclers are great, but we have double Inspired Ultimatum here. We got to get these fixers. I know nothing about this app. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. Talk to Lola Man. He sets this up. Think it's pretty likely this Crystal's going to end up making our deck. Because we're going to have to draft land, so we're not going to end up with a million playables. And it's a 2-mana cycler, and we now have double Healer, Stinger, Tactician, Zenith Flare. We have a lot of cards that pay you off for cycling. Alright, now we have a pick between Fire Prophecy and Snare Tactician. There is a 1-mana cycler, but I don't think that offers us what Tactician and Prophecy do, does it? Prophecy does help fix and help you live. It's good in a control-style Jeskai. Tactician's pretty busted, though. Let's check our cycling count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not that high, not that low for the start of Pack 2. I think it's a pretty close pick here. Tactician's probably better. Tactician is amazing in multiples. Tactician's just amazing, really. It's not really a card that necessarily gets better or worse in multiples. Like, yeah, you dominate the board with multiples, but, like, if you only invested 3 mana in one card, and then you get to tap down one creature every time you cycle for free, that's pretty great, too. So, really, it's just a great card. It's not really about having or not having multiples of it. We don't have any spells matter synergy, right? So we'll just take Imposing Vantasaur over Startling Development here, I think. We've got plenty of cycling synergy. 2 tacticians, 3 healer stingers, and Zenith Flare. 6 cards in our deck that reward us for cycling. But we don't have any Wolverines or any Blitzes. Nothing that makes you want spells over creatures. We got to keep an eye on the Sanctuary lockdown. In a really controlling version like this, I probably wouldn't look to play it. But we are on 3 humans here for 2 drops, and 2 more humans on 3 drops here. So we're currently at 5. We're also not looking great at the Aluna thing. I might end up cutting the Capradors and the Aluna if we have enough playables, and we don't pick up those green sources. It's really hard to say, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, if I end up picking up late 2 blue-green duels, or any green duels, then I'll play Aluna for sure, because I can just cast it, and it's a good card. If I have no green sources, and I have to mutate it, and I don't have many things to mutate it onto, then I can't cast it. Okay, looks like a pretty easy Marmoset. There's no 1-mana cyclers, just an off-color 2-mana cycler. There is a reunion, but, I mean, it's not something we need to do. We have 7 drops. We're not worried about Flood Out. Well, Essence Scatter's pretty good, too. But I still think Marmoset's probably better in the cycling deck. But Essence Scatter, we're going to have lots of blue sources. These are double blue, this is double blue. So Essence Scatter could be a good spell for this deck as well. But yeah, Marmoset's still probably better, right? Given it's pack 3, we haven't seen any Divine Arrows or Shredded Sails since. I think we're unlikely to do the Capradors unless we end up short playables. And the Aluna. We have a nice controlling deck. We can easily close. Just seems unlikely at this point. Like, listen, if I pick up those 2 green duels like I keep talking about, Aluna's going right back in. But at the moment, it seems unlikely. Okay, another Marmoset. Seems like a pretty clear choice over Will. Will is decent, but it's a 2-mana cycler. I mean, it's not like we're really hurting for cyclers. I would like more, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the moment. And also, we want to prioritize creatures with Swallowhole, and Fight is one. Those can both be excellent cards. Giving Indestructible to your Tactician so they can't kill it. As you can see, about half the creatures we have out might be non-human. 2 Marmosets, Great Shark, Mantisaur, and Serpent. The other half are human, Healers, Stingers, Tacticians. I like where this deck's at. We just want a few more Cyclers, basically. And some Fixers. That's what I'm hoping. I don't need power cards or anything, obviously. What I'm hoping to pick up the rest of this draft is Cyclers and Fixers. This pack just offers us nothing. This is just a total brick. A really disappointing pack for us. No Cyclers, no Fixers, no power cards, no removal, no anything. Yuck. Guess it's a Blazing Volley for the sideboard. Definitely can go a little on the land-heavy side. I mean, we have 2 Jeskai Ultimatums. I'm not super worried about Flood. So let's say we could play up to about 15 lands. So that means we need, because this is a land currently in slot. So we're on 21, so we need like another 3 or 4 playables. Like 4 to play 15. I wouldn't want to play 16 lands in a cycling deck. So 2-mana cycler. Where was all the fixing in this draft? A bunch of people better be playing 5-color. I think Coordinated Charge is just a better card than Unpredictable Cyclone. I don't think you actually can. Well, maybe with the Ultimatums. What does this card do exactly? If a cycling ability of another non-land card would cause you to draw a card, so you cycle any card that's not a land. Instead, exile until you exile one that shares a type. So if you cycle a sorcery, you could Ultimatum. So I've got Migration Path. That's it. With just 1 cycling sorcery, I think Coordinated Charge is still better. If I had like a bunch of cycling sorceries, I would have took the Cyclone, because we do have double Inspired Ultimatum. But I mean, we only have 1. It's so unlikely to happen. Okay, I'm just going to grab 2 mana cyclers because it's pack 3. No, because it's so unlikely to happen. I understand that, like, firstly, you can hit other sorceries, like we could hit Swallowhole. But secondly, it's like we have to draw Cyclone and Path, and then we'd have to hit Ultimatum off it, which may or may not happen. It's that we want other... Oh, you don't want to hit the other cycling sorceries because you cast them, is what you're saying. I see your point. But still, it's so unlikely to come up, whereas we might just cast Coordinated Charge and attack with Healer, Stinger, and Marmoset, right? Okay, I think we'll grab Reunion here. It's not really over anything. Well, it doesn't mean you always nail it, because you don't only hit cycling cards. You hit sorceries. So, like, we could hit Swallowhole or Reunion. Hitting Reunion might be pretty good. We draw 3. I'm not sure if you have to discard. You probably don't. But we wouldn't just hit Ultimatum. When we cycle our 1 cycling path, we might hit Swallowhole or Reunion, and then we have no more cycling sorceries, so we would never get value. Remember, you have to tap 5 and put that card in play. And you go down a card. It's pretty bad. Like, let's be clear here. Whereas we have plenty of creatures, so, like, Coordinated Charge is a card we definitely might use. Even though we're not a tokens deck or anything, we have 2 Marmosets, 2 Snare Tacticians, 2 Healers, and a Stinger. Like, we might cast this card with 3 creatures in play. And it's a 2-mana cycler as well. We don't do anything with black mana, right? Like, nothing at all. Literally nothing. So none of these cards are useful for us in any way. Whatever. I guess we might as well take the more useful one for the opponents then. I'm not about hating, but there's just nothing for us. So I think we came up a couple fixers short of a really good deck. A card or 2 short of a really good deck. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can throw one of these playables in, or 2 of those playables in. We had a pretty... Well, we didn't have a terrible pack 3. We got the Marmosets, the Reunion, a couple cyclers, but... Really, we just didn't see the fixing I needed. So this draft is mostly going to come down to whether we find our mana or not, I think. I mean, it's not like it's impossible we'll cast our spells. I mean, we have a bunch of cycling cards... Cathartic Reunion, and Swiftwater Cliffs. But I didn't really get where I wanted as far as fixing. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that subscription. Okay, so if I remember how to do this, now we, export to MTGA? Now let's go decks. New deck. No, that's not what we wanted. Decks, import, there we go. Remember to add basics to the sideboard, very smart. Did I just get rid of some cards? Oh man, I have to get the right cards now because I was clicking. Yuck. Looks like I was clicking over here by the 2-drop spots. What did we have? A Shredded Sails. A Hampering Snare. Oh, it's still in my clipboard, so I could just do it over again, you're saying? Yeah, you're right. I'm not sure if that's even easier or not, but... So, we can just delete it. Import. I guess this is easier. But it was like 2 or 3 cards. Just the 2 drops. Reunion, Snare, Wilt, and Shredded Sails. Okay, so... Let's see. So if we want to play... Let's say 15 lands. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 at the moment. Do we have one more playable? Anything? Like a 2-mana cycler? Not really. A Luna... But we didn't get any green sources, and we don't have much to mutate onto, right? 2 Marmosets, pretty much it. But I guess you do have your stuff more often because of all the cycling. But what if they just kill our Marmoset? If we're not, there's no way we can stick Forest in this deck. It's a Jeskai Ultimatum deck. I know, I wanted a Luna to be doable, but we just didn't get the fixing. Must have been some 3-color and 5-color drafters in this pod. I could play 16. I hate to play that many lands in a cycling deck, but Flood Out is not a big concern of ours. We have Reunion and double Jeskai Ultimatum. I could put in a Caprador, I guess. It does work with Flare and Ultimatum. We could flare our own Caprador, and then we have a 10/10 flyer or whatever. Or if we only have a flare for like 5, we could flare it for 5 on like turn 5, and then we have a 6/8 flyer if we think they can't deal with it. Could be worse. We're definitely not going to play that Forest or that Swamp. And we also could protect it with Fight as one. I think the one Caprador is fine. I don't think I would play the second Caprador over a single cycling card. The only card we could even consider would be Blade Banish, but I don't think we want to cut this Banish. We saw, like, very little removal. We have, like, very little removal, which is okay. I mean, like, we have our late game. We're a proactive deck. But given we don't have pacifisms and prophecies and so on, rock slides, I think we do want to play this Banish. Thank you, Numbers Newsy. Appreciate the support. Thank you for subscribing for all 17 months I've been streaming. Yeah, the Shredded Sails. Yeah, like, I think we can play the one Caprador as the last card. And this is 14. We have to add in one more land. I think 15 is the right number of lands. That can lead to Flood Out in a cycling deck, but we have 2 ultimatums that draw 5 cards. Clearly there has to be more islands in this. Not a lot more, but more. Let's assume we're going to cut 1 plains, and then just add in, like, 2 islands. That should give us the right balance. I think that's almost certainly correct. That gives us 6 red, and Inspired Ultimatums triple red, 5 blue, 5 white. Even though we have more castable white cards, we have to have double blue and double white when we hit 7. So I think 5, 6, 5. That looks right to me. Do we need any lands for the sideboard? We probably don't. I can't really imagine we're going to change the mana. I guess I'll put them in just in case, although luckily there's actually a bunch anyway right now. I mean, there's no reason not to. We can add whatever basics in case we want to do something. But I really don't think we're going to do anything with that. Okay, looks good to me. Let me see who my round 1 pairing is against. Didn't get nearly as much fixing as I wanted. I would feel much better about my deck if I had an Evolving Wilds and a Far Finder and another duel or 2. I am not happy at all with the fixing I have. The brackets are up. I play Numot. I mean, this deck does need fixing less than normal decks, because a lot of your cards cycle. But, yeah, I am not at all happy with the amount of fixing I got. Far Finder's just a good card with double ultimatum. Hit my land drops. Just didn't happen. Nothing I can say. I was looking for it. I would have took it pretty aggressively. It just wasn't there. Okay, where's challenge mode? I'm playing Numot. Oh, I probably need to give him mine as well. Yeah, Farfinder would have been great with a Luna, too. I would have loved Farfinders for this deck. This is like, I don't even always play Farfinder in cycling. And in this deck, with a Luna and double Jeskai Ultimatum and just a 3-color mana base, Farfinder would have been excellent. And like I said, I would have loved green duels if I could have picked them up late. Because, you know, I can't put Forest in because you need to have exactly... You can't agree. A Forest doesn't cast Ultimatum. You have to have 8 mana out. But I would have loved to have the chance to cast Migration Path off of a blue-green or a red-green duel. Remember, even if we only had one of it, right, we're cycling a bunch. So, like, we're going to see, like, 12, 13 cards, let's say. Maybe, like naturally by turn 4, you see, like, 10 or 11. Yeah, so we're going to see, like, 13 cards. That's a third of our deck. So, a third of the time, we'd have that green duel, potentially, by turn 4, roughly speaking. So, and I mean, if we had a blue-green duel, we could play it, cycle, cast Migration Path, and cast Ultimatum. And it lets us choose which basics we search for. So we're going to have Ultimatum mana almost every time if we cast Migration Path. So I'm not super happy about how pack 3 went. I really wanted to pick up 1 or 2 green duels to cast that migration path into double ultimatum. I really wanted to pick up Farfinder to hit my land drops, and then have something to Aluna onto and hit my land drops and fix my mana for ultimatum. I got some cyclers, I got some marmosets and a snare tactician and stuff. I got playables in pack 3, but I really didn't get what I wanted. What I wanted was green duels, Farfinder, stuff that would have really fueled Aluna and the ultimatums that I already had. What I got was like a snare tactician and marmosets and some okay cyclers. You shouldn't have to be friends. Like, by all means, but unless they check the specific setting, I've definitely accepted challenges from non-friends before. Not 100%, but I think it was Newmont's fault. I don't think he chose the correct settings. Alright, let's get this show on the road. It's going okay. How are you, Wild Shadow? No metagaming thoughts against Newmont. I don't even know what he likes to draft. I'm just going to do my thing. So, clearly we don't even have a red source, and we have a slow, expensive hand with double ultimatum. So we're going to cycle Lava Serpent first, hoping to hit a land so I can cast Crystal. Boo! Alright, now I got to cycle Crystal, try and find a land drop. 1 card too late. If we had just had that mount 1 card sooner, I would have cast Crystal. It would have been such a better turn. Okay, I guess Caprador or Marmoset. I guess Marmoset's better right now. It stops the Frenzied Raptor. So now we can cast Caprador, or we can cycle. I think we want to just cast Caprador. We're not in that big of danger of dying on board this turn. It blocks a 2/2. We can take a hit for 4. Well, second Lynx is annoying. Not going to pretend it's not. Shredded Sails up doesn't help us now. Snare Tactician's another fine blocker to stop those 2/2s. I guess we're just casting it and hoping it resolves and that Newmont can't kill all our creatures. I mean, our blockers are fine. We're down to 7. Well, that's bad. And that'll do it. Quick and painful game 1. Alright, so an aggressive blue-red deck. So I want, like, Sabertooth just as a good early blocker. Trade with those Lynxes in that 4/2. We didn't actually see 1 toughness creatures. All the creatures were pretty small. I think Clash might actually be okay here. Just kill, like, 2 of the creatures. Strand the removal. And then we can board out, like, slow, bad stuff if we have that. I mean, Caprador, like I said, is kind of a last inclusion. I don't think it's a good card. And then maybe Blade Banish. We didn't even see many targets, only the 4/2. Situational. Why is Caprador good? Because it can potentially block a 2/2. Just gets Frost-Linked, and it's not a threatening card, and I don't want to invest in it against a blue deck that can then capture Spirit or Frost-Links it. Ah, the perfect hand to lose with, right? We're a 15-land version. I've got 2 1-mana cyclers, a 2-mana cycler. You know me. I'm not mulling this hand. Okay, let's start by playing the bigger one that doesn't have cycling, and then next turn we can see what we need to do. Good draw. I think now we'll just play the aggro game this game. No reason not to just cast the Stinger, I think. I boarded it in. I didn't main it up draft. We saw all creatures that die to a clash, to like both creatures die. We saw like 2 Lynxes and a Raptor, which is top heavy and is really, clash is really good against Frenzied Raptor. Okay, so we're looking for lands. The question is, do we want a reunion or do we want to cycle? We see a lot more cards if we reunion. We could discard like Swallow Hole and a land, I think. I mean, and a cycler. Or we could just cycle. I think we want a reunion. I do want to work up to clash. Whatever Raptor clashes with, both should die. So I think I'm going to reunion, discarding Swallow Hole and one of these cyclers. No reason to trade 3 for 4. Now I'm just going to chill. He'll probably Frostlinks it, but that's fine. Then if we find our land, we can clash both creatures and life is good. And we already have double red, so all we need to do is draw any land and 2 cards, because of course I'm going to cycle in a turn here. No reason to get fancy. Let's just do it while he's tapped. Take the 2 for 1, clear the board. Alright, when that attacks, it's going to have first strike, so the 3/1 isn't blocking it. I don't mind trading blows. We have a flare. Should be a race we can win, even against a deck that's much more suited to race than ours. That said, I also don't mind cycling charge, and I'll happily trade Marmoset for Rumbler. So, looks like a block cycle. If he has anything, good beats. If not, whatever. It's not a 2 for 1. I'm cycling charge, which I have flare in hand. I'm happy to do. And Island's a fine draw. I don't take damage. I blocked it. Who cares? Now, that Plains doesn't help us. But we've already reunioned. That's our only way to cycle cards, so there's no reason to hold it. We can't block the double striker, so we have to choose. Do we want to Zenith Flare the Rumbler, or do we want to hold Zenith Flare? Sabretooth's going to attack down to 11. The odds are pretty low we're going to flare for lethal here. I think we want to flare off a 3/3 double striker and play for the long game. If we draw an island, I mean, we have Voracious Great Shark, which is a powerful card. If we draw cyclers, then we can dig to our lands. We need an island and a mountain to pretty much win the game. So that's an interesting choice, because it's a mountain, which would put us only an island away from Ultimatum instead of an island and a mountain. There's not very many plains left in our deck, which is our only really bad draw, though, right? Because an island turns on Great Shark, so that's a lot better of a draw. I'm trying to click on deck. It's not really cooperating at the moment. Untap good game. Why aren't you working? Maybe it's just not even open. I see it down there on the bottom. Oh, yeah, sorry about the camera. Let me fix that. So, I'm not sure. I think I cycle, right? How many planes do I have? Like 4 or something? If I draw planes, I might get nauseous. But an island right now means Voracious Great Shark is online right now. So I think we cycle. Okay, we're ahead. I can probably attack. And then end of turn, I'll decide whether to cycle the Serpent or not, depending on what Numat does. Because we are threatening lethal next turn. And if I cycle it now, I mean, there is the one red-blue duel, but it's not like if I draw an island, I can cast Great Shark. I cycled that now, because if I drew an island, I would play it and have Great Shark online. But now let's see what Numat does. If a 5/5 haste could be a good play. I mean, the life totals are 20 to 8. Let's see what Numat does this turn. Luca's pretty interesting here. I'm not planning to stream the Arena Open, but I'll consider it. But, I mean, there's a decent amount at stake. I think it's probably bad. I mean, I guess I could stream it on delay, but we'll see. Okay, so if Luca is removed from play, you lose the ability to cast those creatures, right? So I think I'm going to play Lava Serpent and attack. Oh no, if I attack Luca, it'll go to 1. It won't die. Well, either way, I'm not cycling the 5/5 haste here. I'll cast a 5/5 haste and then decide what to attack. I don't think Dranath Healer's changing much. I'll probably end up cycling it, but right now I have exactly enough mana for Lava Serpent. And then I guess I'm just going to attack Numot. Either force a chump block with a 3/4 or put him to 3. Luca's one too many loyalty for me to attack it out, unfortunately. But now if I do cast Inspired Ultimatum, the game ends. I'm an island and a mountain away from it, but one of the 2 cards in my hand cycles, and I'm still at 20 life. Thank you, Drained and Zook. Really appreciate those subscriptions. Okay, so there's the mountain. So all we'll need is an island after this for the ultimatum. I don't see Dranath Healer changing much. If we draw the island, we want to play it now so we can have Great Shark online. So let's start by cycling. Okay, so now we have Great Shark up. Clearly this turn we can't do anything with this 3/1. Just gotta chill. But if ultimatum resolves, we win. We now have Great Shark for any creatures that get played this turn. Life is looking good. I've played a little standard for the Open, not much. I played yesterday. I'm going to play again after this draft. That's why I took off yesterday. Of course, I'm doing this final pot of the streamer draft, but I'm just doing this draft today, and then I'm going to get back to standard. Okay, I think end of turn I want to just cast this 5/4, right? I don't think I need to hold it. I have a pretty good attack. I mean, Numot's got something, because he didn't cast creatures. He could have cast a 6-mana 5/5 haste. Now, he could have a second Convolute. Obviously, I'm probably not going to play around that. But I probably want to attack first. If he casts any spells in combat to grow this to a 5/6 and blow me out, he's going to die to the ultimatum. So, I think I'm just going to attack. Obviously, both here at Numot gives him Ceratops on Sabertooth, Momentum Rumbler on Serpent. But that's a good exchange for me. And if he casts a spell here to grow Ceratops and blow me out, I win the game with Ultimatum. This goes to players, right? Yes, any target. So we're mostly just hoping he doesn't have second Convolute. Obviously, that would be a ridiculous thing to play around. There's no reason for him not to have cast the first one. Oh, wait. No. I definitely don't want him to gain 5 life. Let's try this again. Target player gains 5 life. That's me. Then 5 damage. That's him. Why would I play the mountain pre-combat? Or not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Obviously, he's not ghosting. Like, he may know my deck. He may know I have ultimatums in it. I don't know if he's seen my list or not. But he's obviously not looking at my hand. That's 0%. He convoluted. I played a 5/4 on a tight board. Like, of course he's going to convolute it whether he has a second in hand or not. He's not ghosting. That's absurd. Of course not. I would never think for a second Numot would ghost anybody. That's absurd. I don't know if he's seen my deck list or not, because I do have 2 ultimatums, so he certainly could think about me having an ultimatum in the late game knowing I have 2. He's a smart player. But I would never think he would be ghosted. Okay, so did we see anything to Blade Banish? We saw a Lava Serpent, which cycles. We saw the 4/2. Not really. We saw Luca. Porky Parrot, unfortunately, is a 3/4, not a 4/4, so you can't banish it. I don't think anything's really changed. I think we want this configuration. Clash still looked pretty good against him. We could clash the Momentum Rumbler off with the Frenzied Raptor or something, or the 2 Lynxes, or the Lynx and a Raptor like we did. There's a lot of clash potential against red-blue with top-heavy creatures. We didn't see 1 toughness creatures for Volley. We didn't see 4 power creatures for Blade Banish. Caprador seems acceptable, but kind of medium. I don't think there's really anything to change. I mean, Clash isn't good in general. I didn't even main it. But against a red-blue top-heavy creature deck, like, the times that Clash is good is obviously if the creatures have more power than toughness or if they have Death Touch. And what I've seen from Numot so far is a 4-2, a 3-3, like, a bunch of 2-2s, like, a 5-5. Like, Clash looks pretty effective against him. And yeah, Clash is good sideboard. Like, if your opponent has 2 Death Touch creatures, Clash is absurd against Death Touch creatures. You just, every Death Touch creature is small for the most part, so you just Clash, like, the 2-1 Death Touch and the 5-5 and both die. So, I mean, while I don't main Clash, because it's pretty situational, I'll sideboard it in when I see it lines up well against the threats my opponent has, that's for sure. Magic's all about understanding when to use corner cases and how to get the most value in each situation. One of the things some of my teammates used to get mad at me about is they'd be like, Ben, how's this limited format play? And I'd be like, it's really aggressive. And then they'd see me draft a control deck, and they'd be like, I thought you said aggro was the best. And I'd be like, aggro is the best. Control is what was open in this particular draft, you know? Like, you don't pick a strategy and force it. You know how to do every strategy and weight the cards appropriately and, you know, maximize every situation. Not that I get everything right, no one does, but that's what I attempt to do. Yeah, it's all good. So we saw Convolute. That could be a pretty annoying card for our deck, something we're going to have to think about. Raptor's filler, but it's not, like, laughable. If you have a bunch of removal, it's a nice top-heavy, and you're good at clearing blockers, it's a nice top-heavy creature that hits hard. 3-mana 4-2, like, it can't be, like, laughably bad. It's a 3-mana 4-2, but it's not a good card. But I can see why Numot's playing it. He's a red-blue aggro deck with plenty of tricks, removal, frostlinks. He's pretty good at clearing blockers, so he just wanted a 3-drop that hit hard. Even in his deck, it's still, like, you know, moderate playable. I don't want to call it filler, as in it shouldn't be there, or it's only because he came up short cards, but it's not one of the better cards in his deck. It's just serviceable. I am definitely playing the Open tomorrow, yeah. Not sure if I'm going to stream it or not. We'll see. I'll see how I feel, if I have the energy to explain things. If I do stream it, it is going to be on a delay. But if I stream it on a delay, it's still pretty good, I think, because while we miss out on the live chat interaction, I still just explain everything I'm doing, and then it ends up being pretty decent strategy content, I think. So I'll think about whether to stream it or not based on my energy level. It's not that serious. It's not like it's the Arena PT or something and I want to fully focus. There's a decent amount on the line. But if I sleep well and wake up feeling fine, I'll probably stream it on a delay. Okay, I think we want to cast Healer. He's an offensive deck. I want the life. Like I said, this is one of the rare cycling decks where I think Healer's better than Stinger because my late game is so powerful. So we saw Convolute. So now we have an interesting choice. I mean, I don't mind trading off Marmoset with Convolute or something. But I could also cycle to ensure I hit land drops better. Or I could cast Crystal. But if I cast Crystal, I don't have a 1-mana cycler. I think I'm pretty happy to just trade Marmoset for Convolute, to be honest. I have, like, a late-game power deck. So if he wants to, you know, counter this... I mean, if it's Scatter, like, Scatter's not necessarily always going to be that good against me or line up well against me. But if it's Convolute, I'm a double Jeskai Ultimatum Zenith Flare deck holding a Voracious Great Shark. I don't mind trading with Convolute. Okay, so this is first strike when it attacks, but not right now, so we can attack. I do want to hit my land drops more than anything else right now, and we don't have any blue. I think we just cycle. I think I just start by cycling twice, probably. I mean, I don't care if I do it pre-combat, because he's not going to chump or I'd be ecstatic. So let's start by cycling, see what we get. Gain a little life. Pump our Marmoset. The reason I'm doing this first is because we might draw lands and more cyclers, and we might end up missing 2 points of damage. And if Numot wants to chump block from 19 with a powerful card, remember, this isn't Frostlinks. This is a 3-3 that's going to gain first strike and then double strike. If he wants to cycle, I'll be ecstatic. I mean, chump block, I'll be ecstatic. So we're cycling first, because if we draw a land and a cycler or something, we might end up getting an additional cycle or changing our play or something like that. Swallow Hole's looking good here. I'm still not that interested in this crystal because I don't have any blue sources. I want to dig up blue sources. I think what I want to do now is certainly Swallow Hole the Rumbler. I obviously don't want to trade Healer for his tutus. I think I want to cast the Stinger. So I think this turn I'm just going to chill. I'm going to Swallow Hole the Rumbler, cast Stinger. I think that's it. It's not the most mana efficient, but I kind of want to get the Stinger out before I go back to cycling. I'm not really under any pressure. I'm at 19 with a Healer out. I think here, cast the Stinger. The only question is which of these do we tap to Swallow Hole? Probably doesn't matter much. He does have Prophecy and Flame Spill, so we'd rather make the one we want and play less to be the one that we grow. Because if he has removal, we want to make him have to kill a 3/3 and not a 2/2. So which of these abilities is better? Normally Healer's better in my deck, but the life total is 19 to 13, so I'm not sure which creature is better right now, Healer or Stinger. It's probably Stinger right now, because I'm up on board, I'm up in life. So I'm going to make Healer grow. So if he has a removal, he has to choose between kill the 3/3 Healer or the Pinger, because I think Ping is more valuable than gain 1 right now. Does everybody understand that decision? Whichever one, since he doesn't have 2 damage removal, he has Prophecy and Flame Spill. Whichever one of these creatures' ability I think is better, the other one is the one I want to grow. Because I'd rather have a 3/3 with a worse ability or a 2/2 with a better ability. I'm spreading out against his removal. Okay, so now we can attack with Marmoset. Clearly that's it. I'm not attacking 3/3 and a 3/4. And then I think I don't need to play Crystal. I mean, even though ultimatums are double red, we're nowhere near that yet. You're welcome. Thanks for the compliment, Serge. Okay, so I think, again, I think we want to cycle pre-combat because who cares about showing him one cycler? The only problem here, ideally I would cast Dragon's Stinger and then cycle and attack, but then he could, like, triple block. So I can't cast the Dragon's Stinger pre-combat. So I think what we do here is just attack with Marmoset. If he takes it, I'm going to cycle twice. If he doesn't have removal here, he's getting really low if he takes it. That would be 8 damage because of the Stinger too. But he doesn't have any blocks on it. If I cycle twice, I can eat a 2/2 and a 3/4, and then my Marmoset's not going to die. So hopefully he doesn't have Prophecy. Okay, he didn't block. Again, I don't care if he does have Prophecy. It's not like a blowout. It's like I'm cycling. I'm not spending a bunch of pump spells on my creature. I'm just cycling, pinging, gaining life like I kind of want to do anyway. I'm missing out on getting Healer in play first, but that's well worth it. I'm at 21. Actually, I'm not even going to play this Plains. I have Cathartic Reunion. I do need to discard Plains, because I need Islands for Great Shark. I have double Jeskai Ultimatum. I already have one more Plains that I need in play. Plains is the worst card in my deck right now. Okay, so we could cast Mountain, but it is the second card we might discard. Don't think we need another Healer out. So first and foremost, I think I'm just going to attack with the Marmoset again. I don't think there's any way it can work out poorly for me. I could play a land to possibly have an extra cycle, but I don't think I want to. Actually, I guess I could cycle pre-combat. Like, I'm going to cycle the Lava Serpent and the Healer almost for sure. So maybe I cycle pre-combat in case I do draw another card. Because I already have 2 cards to discard to the reunions. So I'm going to start by cycling here. Because I could end up with a situation where I'm cycling an extra time in combat. Okay, that's another card I'm pretty happy to discard to reunion. Does virtually nothing on this board. So I'm going to go ahead and play a land now. Mountain's somewhat useful. Jeskai Ultimatum's triple red. I would never have played this Plains, even if it was going to be moderately useful here, because Jeskai Ultimatum is double white, triple red, double blue, and I already have an extra Plains in play. But the Mountain's useful. Then, of course, we can't attack with anything but Marmoset. But this is big because now we can do 2 cycles, not 3, should he choose to block in such a way that that's what we want to do. He chose to just chump block, so we'll just let that happen. Now I'm going to Reunion. Sabretooth is as good as a dead card. I'm happy to discard that and Plains. See what we pull up. And no reason to cycle now, so now we pass the turn. I played the red land because we have double Jeskai Ultimatum, and it's triple red. So the red land was going to be very useful, potentially. Whereas, and I played it pre-combat, because if he would have went for a triple or quadruple block or something, we might have cycled the Serpent into another cycler, and it could have been the difference between Marmoset living or dying and Marmoset killing an extra creature or not. And we have so much to do. I wasn't really worried about, like, drawing an island, drawing another island and playing Great Shark, because we have so much to do in the meantime, and we're not really under any pressure. I drew the Sabretooth before I played the Mountain, so that I had 2 cards to discard to the Reunion. Sabretooth is a near-dead card. I didn't start the turn by playing the Mountain, because I had Plains, Mountain, and Reunion, and I only really wanted to discard Plains. So I started the turn by cycling Healer, then I drew Sabretooth, which is an almost dead card, so then I played the Mountain, because I knew I could discard Sabretooth and Plains. Okay, so if we untap, we can play Stare Tactician, then cycle. We want to cycle on our turn because it's going to pump Marmoset. We can tap his best blocker, probably the Porcupine, because I'd rather kill the 3/4 that grows than the 3/4 that pings if it gets mutated onto. The cycle's going to put him to 3. Still doesn't look like we have a good attack, other than the Marmoset, unless we draw another cycler, in which case he's dead on board. If we top deck a 1-mana cycler, and we can cycle twice after we play the Tactician, the game's over. Then he has 2 blockers for 3 attackers, and is at 2 life, so he's dead. Now we have an interesting choice. We didn't top deck a 1-mana cycler, but we did a second Tactician. I might want to just play double Tactician and pass the turn. Even though it sucks taking the turn off, if we untap with double Tactician, we're tapping 2 blockers per cycle, and we have all that mana to work with. I could still make the first play. It does. If I play Tactician and cycle Serpent, I then get to eat a 3/4 with Marmoset. I don't think we need the greedy Marmoset attack. I think now we just play double Tactician. Like, he doesn't have board sweepers. I don't even think Blue-Red really has access to board sweepers in this format, right? So all we can do, we could just dump our hand here. Yeah, we're at 22. We're not dying. Maybe he kills Stinger or something. Maybe he kills one of the 2 Tacticians. But we're under virtually no pressure. Even Luca's ultimate isn't scary. Looks like Numot agrees. Double Tactician, good enough for the round 1 victory. Pleasure doing business with you. Tip our hat to the OG Booster Draft Limited streamer, Numot the Nummy. Let me see if I can bring up the bracket. I know there's a bracket for this. Here's the bracket. So we play the winner of Mr. Metronome and Mobius, which both seem to be in Game 3. And then it looks like Legend beat Lord Tupperware and Preddy beat Kyle Rose. So it looks like in the other semis you have Legend versus Preddy, and we are waiting on the winner of Mobius and Mr. Metronome. Thanks, Chrono. I don't think he could have done anything different. None of his plays seemed anything but standard. He cast his creatures. We had a good hand. We had a Marmoset he didn't have an answer to that, dealt him 6 and then 4, and he had to start chump blocking. I'm not going to take an actual break. I mean, we're just waiting on one game. They're in game 3, and we played a 3-game match. I assume we'll get our next round going within minutes. I'll permit you, Akinar. Him not blocking from the initial attack was crucial, but if he did block, he's chump blocking on turn 4. And then what does he do the following turn? So, I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't possibly right to chump block there, but it was kind of a lose-lose situation for him, you know what I mean? Like, when you're faced with a choice of whether to chump block a Marmoset on turn 4 or not, it's like, you're in a bad spot, man. Looks like they finished. I don't know who won, but I see them saying good games to each other in our Discord. All right, looks like we're up against Mobius. Let's keep the party rolling. I am thinking about streaming my run in the Arena Open. Like, I probably won't stream something like the actual Arena Pro Tour, but because I want to fully focus. But, I mean, the Open is a serious, fun cash tournament, and with a decent amount on the line. But I'll probably stream that on a delay unless I, like, can't sleep or I'm sick or something. If I feel energetic, if I get 8 hours of sleep, if I'm doing fine, I'll probably stream it on a delay. Alright, so what are we doing? Challenge match. 40 card, best of 3, coin flip. Especially because I'm only going to do this today because I want to get back to standard testing, so I'm going to be off in like an hour. We're going to play all 3 rounds. Like, even if I lose this round, I'll play the 3rd round. But I'm going to be off in like an hour. It's a really short day, and I took yesterday off. So tomorrow I'll probably stream the standard thing. Thanks everybody who tuned in for this little final pod. The 2 top 4s from the previous pod played. This will be pretty cool when we get to 4 pods, and then maybe like the 4 top 2s from the pods play the final pod. Something like that. It's kind of sweet having these streamer drafts. I like it. It's fun. Chance to throw down. Mobius is challenging me in the friends list? I don't know what that means. Oh, so you don't have to enter anything. That's good technology. So that's the reason to friend up the people you might play against. It just means it's easier. You basically don't have to copy-paste names or anything like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that. Obviously, we're having a little bit queuing up problem. I do want to try using this friendless feature. It seems good for this if it actually works. So, challenge. Let's play a best of 3 game. Yes. What is going on? I don't want a message. I want a challenge. I want to fight. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm so bad at technology. All right, back to the old-fashioned way, I guess. I do want to learn how to do it like that, but for now, what are you going to do? Where's my deck? Is it this? I don't think so. I had a picture of Great Shark. Is my arena going crazy? What is going on? Am I going crazy? Just getting old. Okay, there's the imported deck. That's certainly the one we want. Now we'll try challenging Mobius. Challenge match. 40 card. Best of 3 coin flip. Challenge. Best of 3, 40 card, challenge match, coin flip. Select deck. Imported deck. I mean, it's easier than having to send names and copy and paste, so learning how to use the friendless version of it seems good. It seems like something I should be learning how to do. Okay, this is an auto play first deck. We have very little removal, and we have powerful late game and are super proactive. I don't know, sometimes I name my decks, usually I don't. I leave that to Amy. Someday she'll go on my account and name all my decks. I'm just kidding, but I know she gives all her decks, like, cool names. I'm not very creative. Okay, should I cycle? Nah, we already have land 3. I'm just going to hold on to it. Given we have the Snare Tactician and the Marmoset, I'm going to hold on to my 1-mana cycler here. Represents 2 free damage or more. Certainly Marmoset first. We don't need to tap anything right now. Again, I don't really need to pump Marmoset this turn, and we have Snare Tactician coming out, so I think we just chill. Hold on to our cyclers. It's going to be pretty tough for Mobius to even deal with the Marmoset. We have Fight as 1 to protect both creatures. But most likely on our next turn, we'll start cycling all these cyclers, tapping blockers, pumping Marmoset, hopefully making quick mincemeat of our opponent. Thank you, Potter Goes Gaming. Appreciate that subscription. Alright, so Cavern Whisperer into a 6/6. Of course, we can tap it, but what are we going to discard? Either Fight as 1 or a 2-mana cycler. I think the 2-mana cycler, right? We want Fight as 1 to protect our stuff from Ram Through or from Blood Curdle. Okay, let's see. I guess I'm not really going to win this race unless I start tapping the 6/6. So I didn't tap it last turn. It's fine. I have tons of life. But I probably need to tap it on his turn. I don't think I can cycle to deal 2 instead of gain 6. So I'm just going to chill. We have 1 Reunion as the only way to cycle cards. We need 3 red anyway. No more duels. So I'll play the 1 more mountain. If I draw another mountain, I'll hold it. Okay, now I'm going to cycle, though. Probably got to start tapping a 6/6. We're probably not racing that. I mean, I didn't think I needed to cycle on his turn last turn. We still had 21 life. I might end up cycling on my turn with Marmoset. I might not. Just see what else we draw. It was fine to cycle there, but we were also not in any concern about hitting lands. We're not holding ultimatums. We had a handful of cheap cyclers. I would say it wasn't really much of a big decision either way, to be honest. Looks like a black-green deck. Hopefully it doesn't have Capture Sphere. As long as Fight as 1 saves our creatures, we should be in pretty good shape. If he has Chittering Harvester or Capture Sphere, that could be really bad for us. But if it's Blood Curdle or Ram Through, then Fight as 1's going to be awesome. For now, I'll just keep hitting for 4, tapping on his turn, and this is 4 for 0 each turn, so seems fine to me. We're also working our way towards Ultimatum. We're pretty close to Ultimatum mana now. We need to just draw mountain or island, and we have ultimatum. Target non-human gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible. Oh no, sorry, human. Well, whatever. We can do both. It doesn't matter. Alright, cycle the one that costs more to cycle. I don't expect to cast Shredded Sails here. Plains is no help. Mountain or island gives us ultimatum mana. Plains does nothing for us. So if we cycle twice, we hit for 8. We tap the blocker. Honestly, though, we need to keep tapping the 6/6. I'm not really worried about him chump blocking. I think we just chill. I'm going to hold the Plains in case we draw Reunion. Plains really just does nothing for us. Obviously, if he wants to attack with Fertilid, who cares? I'll cycle and tap the 6/6 now. It's a great blocker. There's no reason to give him the option to attack with it, I don't think. But other than that, I'm not going to cycle and tap Fertilid. I'll do it on my turn maybe, but if Mobius wants to get in that 2 damage with Fertilid, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I know, Tishel, but we're just in such a good position. I don't want to burn cyclers. That's effectively a tapper for the 6/6. I'm basically just not, like, in a rush. Oops. Now that we have 2 anyway, I think I'm going to play the Stinger. I don't know if there's anything that Mobius could have here to not be dead, but whatever. Pretty sure this game's just over. Remember, the goal is not to lethal as fast as possible. It's to lethal as likely as possible. It's to cut out outs. I mean, what pressure were we under? Spinneret's on taps, right? But with the Stinger, I guess maybe we'd rather have the extra cycler to retap after the Spinneret on taps. So maybe playing Stinger is wrong. Okay, so we're up against a black-green mutate deck. We saw 2 Fertilids, Cavern Whisperer. We didn't see much. Blood Curdle. So we definitely want Fight as 1 because we saw Blood Curdle. We didn't see any targets for Blazing Volley. Clash looks medium. We didn't see Death Touchers. I mean, we did see a 4/4 and 2 2/2s, but a Mutate deck will often have some small creature and some big creature, and Clash of Titans is usually bad against Mutate. It's good if they have Death Touch, but we didn't see any Death Touch, right? We didn't even see a Boot Nipper or something like that. I don't think there's any changes to make for Game 2. Why don't you superimpose your head over the image of the avatar like that? It's actually kind of a cool idea. Let me see what it looks like when we get into the game. I'm not sure how big it is and if it's going to block things or whatever, but that is actually kind of a neat idea. Do you like the camera there? Alright, we're not going to mull this, obviously. Right in the center. Alright. So I'm not going to cycle turn 1 again. I'm going to cast Stinger. Then we'll start cycling. I mean, this hand's not great. Obviously, I would never mull anything like this. Play our Stinger. Start our cycling. We've got Flare. We're not like an all one-mana cyclers deck or anything. We have enough cyclers, but our count is not like absurd. We have like 10 or something. But hopefully we can dig up those blue lands to win with Ultimatum, or draw a bunch more cyclers, or draw Reunion. If Mobius is missing black, I'd love to kill that Naturalist. I'm not sure if I'll flare it for 3 or not. I might, to be honest. Because, like I said, I don't expect flare to do that much damage, and we already have it in our opening hand. And we definitely don't need it to close, given we have double ultimatum. So we'll see. We'll see what we draw. We can't really plan something like that out yet. Okay, we want double red more than double white. I'm going to cycle once right now because we might draw Shredded Sails, in which case I'll just cast it, killing Vulpikeet. So let's start out by cycling, see what we get. No Shredded Sails. Just gotta pass the turn. Always ignore the Naturalist. I thought there was a fundamental rule of Magic, always bolt the bird. Cavern Whisperer, that's going to be a pretty annoying creature now. With the +1/+1. It's out of Shredded Sails range. We don't really have that many ways to interact with it. I mean, we might get the Flare to 5, we might not. Ultimatum does 5 if we get there, but we're a long ways from that. So, I could play Healer, but I think we just need to try and get this Flare big enough to hit this Whisperer. So I think I'm just going to start by cycling these healers. Wish I had a cycler for turn 2 instead of Stinger, but what are you going to do? Okay, so now no reason to show that we have more. We can cycle twice end of turn. See what happens. Again, hopefully this won't grow further. I don't know if Mobius has my deck list or not. If not, it's kind of hard to go all in on one creature because I could just pacify it or rock slide it. I don't have either of those cards. I also could just Zenith Flare him. If I'm able to keep pinging him, connect once or twice, and then flare him, even if it's not lethal, that life might give me enough time to finish cycling and kill him. So we'll see what happens here. We saw Blood Curdle. That was the only interaction that we saw that was relevant. He's not ghosting. Streamers don't ghost each other in these streamers drafts. I just don't even know if, like, people talk about the other person's deck, like, in their streams, or, like, if they have access to deck lists. Nobody's sniping or ghosting or whatever. Like, that's cheating. Having access to the opponent's deck list isn't necessarily cheating. Like, I don't think it's against the rules or anything. Nobody's ghosting. Okay, so we're one island away. What's up, Voxy? We're one island away from Ultimatum. We have 5 blue sources in the deck. I think I want to Zenith Flare the 5/5. I'm not that close to lethaling. If I do get up to double Ultimatum, that should win the game. Gotta play for the long game, right? I already have the next mountain drop. A lot of my cards cycle. All I need is an island, and I'm home free. Alright, let's start by cycling, because we might find a blue-red tap duel or cathartic reunion or other things we want to do. So I'm going to start by cycling, see what we get. Alright, no such luck, but Blade Banish is not a horrible draw. That can take out the Gem Razor. So now I'm just going to chill. If I attack, he would certainly block. There would be nothing wrong with casting Fight as one. I'm not, like, super scared he has exactly Divine Arrow or something. But I'd rather just spend all my mana and Blade Banish Gem Razor this turn than attack, cast Fight as one, strand 3 mana, and take another hit for 4. So now we just pass the turn with Blade Banish. Hey, even better. And you see, stop accusing famous streamers, popular streamers of ghosting. No, they're never doing it. Now we can Blade Banish in response. It's gone. The fight doesn't even happen. We get the full blowout. Life is good. Life would be better if we draw one island. We've got a lot of blue sources. I think there's 3 islands and a blue-red duel, in addition to Reunion and all the cyclers. So hopefully we'll draw an island. That's our best draw. I'm going to block. I'm not really scared of losing the Stinger. I think most likely he's just trying to get in damage. If he kills the Stinger, I really don't care. Island. It's not an island, but it's a decent card. Reach doesn't change anything. Again, we're just trying to buy time, get our island so we can cast our double ultimato. So that doesn't help us. The question is, do we cycle now or on his turn? We have one blue tap duel. We could also draw Reunion. I'm not going to attack, I don't think. Even if I, drew... I could tap the Serval, but I'd rather just block a 1-power creature than deal 2. Because I have double ultimatum. I want this game to go as long as possible. The main and only real reason to cycle now instead of on his turn is because I might draw the blue-red tap duel. Which, listen, it's one card, but there's only 19 in my deck, so it's about 5% will draw the blue-red tap duel. And also I might draw Cathartic Reunion. I think I like passing, though. I just want this game to go long. I want to buy time. I want to gain life. He also might mutate onto the Mamba, and then tapping it might save us a hard hit or something like that. So I think I like waiting, but it's a close call. Not a good draw. We can't cast it. Obviously, if we draw more Cyclers, that's fine. If we draw Reunion, that's fine. If we draw Island, that's great. Again, I think I'm just looking to slow this game down any way I can. I'm just going to go for the +1/+1 here. It's kind of embarrassing, but I don't think he's holding anything at the end of the day that he can do right now. And at the end of the day, I just kind of want to remove these creatures and slow this game down. Another not very good draw. We're looking to draw Cyclers. We're looking to draw Island, of course, the most. Cathartic Reunion would be excellent. I would pitch, Great Shark and Ultimato, I guess. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we swallow whole the Naturalist. We'll take 2 and go to 5, but then he has no attacks after the Tactician on taps, and we take the only black source. I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking. Island. No island. Another decent card to put in play, though. Come on, deck. 16 left in my deck. Where are these islands? Alright, so we're definitely going to cycle Shredded Sails. The question is, do we do it now or later? I think I'm going to do it now, because now we have a Marmoset that can attack. If we draw, another Cycler, I can attack with 1 and hold 1 back. And again, we're down to 15 cards in the deck. So now we're about 6, almost 7% to draw the blue-red tap duel. Plus, if we draw an island, we can play it and then have Great Shark up. I'm going to tap, I guess, the Serval, because I might actually attack with both. Plane's about the worst draw in our deck. A Cycler was good and Island was good. That said, I don't think he's holding anything. Maybe I just attack here for 7? No, because then I die to, a mutate on the Mamba. I think the right play is just attack for 4. Because, if he mutates on the Mamba, I can chump block if I need to. And he doesn't have an attack. He can't even poke me for 1 because I would eat the Mamba. So I think sending the 4/3 and not sending the 3/4 is correct. Again, we're down to 14 cards in our deck. We've got Reunion, we've got Cyclers, we've got 4 blue sources. Not a great draw for us. I mean, if we draw Plains, we're somehow going to lose this game now, I think. Clearly, we block that. Go to 2. If we draw Island, we're still in great shape. That's no help. But I can cycle on his turn. And then if he attacked with the remaining 2 creatures, 3/4 blocks 3/3 take 1. So that's not bad for us if he bricks. If I cycle now, Island doesn't let me ultimatum. Think we definitely wait. Still no island? Yuck. Come on, really, deck? This is grotesque. The crystal doesn't produce blue. That's why I didn't play it. It's the Save, not the Jeskai. This is so gross. What, 12 cards left in our deck or something? And a lot of them cycle? That was disgusting. Alright, so we didn't really see enchantments. We saw Vulpikeet, Shredded Sail is good. A lot of the creatures have more toughness than power. We don't want Clash. We didn't see anything for Volley. There's a couple Naturalists. I don't think there's any changes to make. Clash is good against Gnar, but that's not enough. We saw 2 Vulpikeets. We saw 2 Naturalists. You don't board in Clash because they have 1 good target. It may very well not line up. Definitely a play first matchup. Gotta keep. Not a great hand, not a horrible one. Decking would not have been a problem. We had double ultimatum. After I drew an extra 5 cards, we would win the game. The crystal doesn't produce blue. I have the red, black, white crystal. If I had the red, blue, white crystal, I would have played it. Playing the crystal would not have helped me in any way, shape, or form. We do not have any green sources. These are just cyclers. Okay. Not the best, not the worst, but let's get our Marmoset going. Thank you, PHZ3. Appreciate the subscription. All right, so we're not on any white. We saw Ram Through, and we saw Blood Curdle. We didn't see Divine Arrow, so I'm certainly going to attack. Shredded Sails looks decent against him. He has double Vulpikeet. I think we should start by cycling the off-color cycler main phase and just see what we get. We also saw Blade Banish last game, but that's 1 more mana than he currently has. So I think this is pretty easy. We don't have a white source. I'll hold on to the sails. I can play the tap duel for now. If he's got arrow, he's got arrow. If not, I'm not missing 6. I'm not psychic. Okay, so nothing really changed from last turn. No Blood Curdle or Blade Banish available. I do have Snare Tactician to cast, but I don't think I'm going to hold on to Shredded Sails. Every point of damage now is huge. He's not going to flash in a blocker, so I don't need to play the Snare Tactician first. So let's start by cycling the Sails. I'm obviously going to hold the Serpent as a 5/5 haste next turn to just try and overrun him. I already have 6 lands. And now I think we just attack for 4 and then place the Tactician. And then next turn, most likely we'll cast a 5/5 haste. I mean, maybe we'll cycle, but most likely we'll cast a 5/5 haste. I guess we also might just have lethal. Like, if I cycle, I think we have lethal. If I cycle, tap, hit for 6, flare for lethal. We have lethal. Good game. Let me make sure it doesn't tap our planes here. Oops, that's not the one I want to cast. That is. On to the finals. Looks like Preddy and Legend. I don't see a winner yet. I think they're in game 2 with Preddy having won game 1. I'm going to grab a drink because we might have a minute or two. Thanks, WTY Bear. Appreciate the subscription. I think he took a mulligan and had a pretty bad hand there. Obviously, we got super screwed in game 2. Like, I think there was a point in game 2 where we were like 90% to win. It's not just 4 blue sources. A lot of the cards in our deck cycle. And then there's Cathartic Reunion. So, like, we had like a 16 card deck with like 5 cyclers, Cathartic Reunion, and 4 blue sources. And there was literally like 1 plains, 3 mountains, or like 2 mountains, 2 plains left in our deck. And we drew like 2 mountains and a plains. Like, I mean, it was literally like laughable. But obviously, game 3, I think he had a really bad draw. He mulliganed and then did almost nothing. So. Thanks everybody who tuned in for this short stream. I do plan to stream the Arena Open tomorrow, and I do plan to play the Arena Open tomorrow. That's why no stream yesterday, short stream today. You know me, I sit around drafting all the time, so when it comes time for a serious standard tournament, sometimes I have to jam some standard. I've actually got, let me show you, I've actually got kind of a brew I've been looking at for the Arena Open I might play. I'm still testing it. I don't know if it's good enough or not yet. It feels close. It makes good use of Zerta with Shark Typhoon, and it's just like a control deck. I'm not sure if it's good enough or not. Like I said, it does some good things. You know, Thassa's Intervention to go pull up the Yadaro to win with. Yadaro's only 1 to cycle if you have Zerta out. Shark Typhoon gets +2 with Zerta. This deck gets rolled by aggro, but it's pretty good against all the Urian decks and stuff. But it loses to aggro. Like, I almost never beat, like, Knights or, like, the Obosh decks. But it does pretty well against the Urian decks. You've got a bunch of hard counters, Intervention, Sabotage, Negate, a bunch of cycling, card drawing and stuff. Instant speed win conditions with Yadaro. Well, it's best of 1, the Arena Open, so the sideboard doesn't matter, so I haven't really put much work into it. I slapped some cards in there that I thought could go in there, but I don't think the sideboard really matters. Yeah, I mean, Flame Sweeps, as you can see, I thought of, but I mean, I can't really main deck that card, can I? I mean, maybe I could play some Sweeps main instead of some Dragonfires or Blitzes, but Blitz hits Planeswalkers. Blitz kills, like, Lukas and Teferis and Narsets, like, no problem. I don't think you want the 4-mana Sorcery Wrath. You just can't tap out for that card on your turn. I think Flame Sweep would be good against the Obosh aggro decks that I keep losing to. I'm just not sure that I can main it. I guess with Chemist's Insights, maybe. Maybe, like, 2 copies, and then I can discard 1 to an Insight. Maybe I'll try a couple Sweeps main, because that has been my biggest problem. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it yet or not. This is why I'm doing a short stream today. I got to test more. I'm not above playing a more standard deck. Like, if I test and that deck isn't testing well for me, I'll play Jeskai Luka or whatever. It's just, when I'm testing, I figure things out, and I feel like I can make decent lists usually. Obviously, like I said, sometimes you test. What people always see is when you show up with your brew or whatever, they don't realize that you discarded 4 brews along the way to get to that one, and you just tested for 50 hours. Or that, like, the other 3 tournaments where you played the standard deck, you also tested a bunch of ideas and then discarded them all. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just always like, oh, well, here's some sweet brew I'm going to play. Like, I test and then discard it, test and then discard it, test and then I'm like, oh, this one's actually performing well in this meta. Okay, I'll run it. Oh, looks like Preddy is ready. But I tested it yesterday, and I was beating the Urian decks, but I was losing to aggro. Okay, let's see. Challenge match. 40 card. Best of 3. And then I need Preddy's name. Like, exact name. There it is. What's the mismatch? Did I do something wrong? I usually assume it's me, but I think we're supposed to do challenge match, 40 card decks, best of 3. I don't know. Apparently it's supposed to be tourney match. Best of 3 coin flip. I guess that makes it so that you don't have to set the other settings too, which is kind of nice. Oh wait, but how do you choose a 40 card deck in a tourney match? Oh, limited tournament match. Okay. So then you can choose 40 card decks. Sure. That is the least amount of clicks. It does actually make the most sense. I didn't even know limited tourney match existed. Arena getting better all the time. We are 2-0, round 3 against Preddy. Finals of the streamer pod, of the final pod, too. This was the top 4 from the previous 2 rounds of this. Not a good hand. I mean, I'm not going to mull it. We've got red and white and cycling. I mean, I don't think you mull hands like this. Hopefully we'll draw stuff we can cast. We've got 2 Tactician, 2 Marmoset, Cathartic Reunion, Zenith Flare, Blue Sources. Lots of good draws. I hate mulliganing. I'm not embarrassing you. I just like mulligan. I just hate mulliganing. If you like mulliganing, you do you. Personally, I don't like to mulligan. I think I'm just gonna trade if Preddy attacks here. I can only tap for so long. I'm not that cycle heavy of a deck. I've got 2 more creatures, a removal, and another removal. I don't think this 2-3 is doing much for me in play, to be honest. I know it's kind of a counterintuitive block. The only reason not to do it, really, would be Blade Banish. But I just don't see that particular Tactician, that body, doing much for me. Alright, well, now I'm going to Blade Banish, because you never know if there's going to be targets for Blade Banish or not. I know it's tempting to use Swallow on the tapped creature, but Tactician taps creatures, plus I'm just at 20 life. So even if he plays like a 5-5, I can take a hit and then Swallow Hole it. Plus I have Tactician to tap something. But for all we know, a red-blue deck may not play another 4-power creature. Blade Banish is more situational than Swallow Hole. And I'm not really worried about attacking or anything. I'll attack when I can attack, but it's not like I'm sitting here like, oh, wow, what if, like, I need to remove a blocker? Like, I'm not an offensive deck. Okay, clearly I'm not going to block now. This would be the riskiest double block in history and borderline just insane to do. See what else he has. Okay, so now we can Swallow Whole the tap Porcuparrot, which is the best creature that they have out by a lot. We could attack with 1. If they block, we could use Fight as 1. But do we really want to kill a Glimmerbell that bad? I don't think that makes sense. Think now. I'm just going to Swallow Whole. I'm going to buff the worst of the 2 creatures like we talked about last time for the exact same reasons. And pass back. No reason to cycle and tap a Glimmerbell. It could just be untapped anyway. Plus, it's just 1 point of damage. Who cares? That Glimmer Army. Okay, with no blue, I don't think I really want to cast charge. I want to dig deeper into my deck. I'm not worried about Flood because I have the Reunion. So if I draw islands, cool. If I draw plains or mountains, I'll discard them to Reunion. So I think end of turn, I'm going to cycle charge, gain a life, tap the on-tap blocker so I can hit for 5, see what we draw. I think I'm probably going to cycle, not cast the healer, but I see no reason to do it now. Gremlin's not blocking profitably. I don't need to be in a rush. I'm not really facing any threats in play at the moment. Just going to pass. Again, I can healer on their turn. I might be willing to discard this Great Shark to Reunion, but I'm not going to Reunion now just to discard Great Shark and Fight as 1. That seems a little preemptive. I've already got 3 mountains, 2 plains. Every mountain or every plains is pretty much a dead draw. So I'm definitely going to cycle the other cyclers I draw, and see what I get. Blue sources I want to put in play, but mountains and plains I want to discard to Cathartic Reunion. Okay, so end of turn, do I want to cycle the healer? I think I do. Even though tapping Glimmerbell looks kind of loose, if he untaps it to triple block, he'll have, what, 3 to work with? I have Fight as 1. I could tap the Gremlin. Then he doesn't have a block on the 3/3. That's probably right. It's kind of weird, but it's probably right. What's up, Ifra? For anybody who didn't see, I retweeted Ifro. For everybody who's interested in what's going on with the MPL and just all the latest drama, he did a great write-up. I want to shout out. I retweeted it. So if you follow me on Twitter and you're kind of in tune with Magic Twitter and you want to see what's going on, check out that write-up Ifro did. A good, long, detailed write-up that really echoes the way a lot of us are feeling. So I'm definitely going to cycle this healer, because if I draw mountains and plains, I get rid of them. If I draw islands, it's great. The question is, do I tap Gremlin or Glimmerbell? I honestly think I just tap Gremlin, because then I can attack with the 3/3. If I get in the 3, cool. If Pretty goes for any block trick or anything, I've got the Fight as 1. So I think that's the right play. Now I'm just going to attack and play Marmoset. I mean, I don't care if this gets Essence scattered or not. If it resolves, great. If they have the scatter, we can trade. It makes no real difference to me. We're just kind of on the slow grind here. But, I mean, I'm not afraid of anything. Like, I'm not afraid of flooding out. Okay, let's see. So, +1/+1 indestructible, but they're both humans. So is there a way to save both? Probably not. So that's actually a really nice clash here. I didn't expect that. Obviously, it's worth playing Fight as 1 to save whichever of these I think is better. Probably the 3/3 healer here. Remember, he chumped with a Glimmerbell to make this happen. It's not the end of the world. But there's no way to save both, is there? If I give +1/+1 indestructible here, the Tactician's going to die. If I give +1/+1 in Tactician, the healer's going to die. So I'm going to save one. I can't save both. Which is the better one to save? I already traded off a Tactician, but I don't have that many cyclers. I think the 3/3 healer is better. I don't know. Maybe not. It's close. It's really close. I have one tap a blocker. 2-3 can't attack past Glimmerbell, though. I think I'm going to save the healer. This is a greedy play, but I think it's right. It's really close. This is one of those plays people always ask me, what makes Paulo the best? These incredibly hard, close choices, he makes better. Like, I don't know whether the right play was to save Tactician or Healer. I'm sure it was right to use Fight as One to save one of my two good creatures right there. They're both pretty relevant, and the opponent's got, like, one card in hand. But I have no idea which of those was better to save. But every point of life I gain helps the game go long, and given I can't flood, I've got the 2 Ultimatos in there, I think I like sending the game long. Obviously, I got punished immediately because now there's a 4-2 that stops the 3-3, but we couldn't have known that was going to happen. So, this is definitely a race I'm winning. There's no reason to trade Healer for Raptor as opposed to having them stare at each other. So I think the play here is just attack with Marmoset. And then, of course, we'll start cycling if it's not blocked. No reason to put Preddy on a Flame Prophecy or whatever for that last card. Could be a Blitz. It only has the 1 instant or sorcery. Obviously, we'll cycle the Path first. I'm pretty likely to cycle the Shredded Sails too if he doesn't block. We can get him in Zenith Flare range and Ultimatum range. We're gaining life. We're digging. And again, there's like no real bad draws in our deck, because even though Mountain and Plains are dead cards, we have Reunion we're holding. So I'm pretty likely to cycle Sails, but obviously we're going to cycle the Path first, and let's see what we get. And yeah, I don't think I need to Sails off Glimmerbell. It's not really doing anything. I think I'm pretty happy to take the Connect for 6 here, see what we get. Okay, I'm certainly going to play the island. Again, we're not really under much pressure or in a big rush. Not going to Reunion yet, of course. Reunion is mostly for mountains and for plains. Mountain and plains are literal dead draws at this point. Caprador is not great, not horrible. We don't have any more cyclers in hand, so I would probably trade Healer for Raptor. But I have plenty of life. What's up with this Gremlin attack? I wasn't expecting that. Could have, like, Shore Shark. I mean, I don't mind trading Healer for Shore Shark. Why is he attacking with Gremlin? I was expecting Glimmerbell for sure, and then maybe Raptor, maybe not. Could be Startling Development. I mean, I'm definitely ready to trade the Healer off. I don't care. Oh, yeah, Startling Development makes a lot of sense, because that would untap it. Yeah, it could also be another Clash, you're right. I'm going to block the Raptor. This way, if it's Development, I save a lot more damage this way. And if it's Clash, like, it doesn't work. We trade. Development was a sick read. A+. Who in the chat said Development? Great job, Traff. Development's the perfect read because it would untap Gremlin. So if because, like, I'm winning the race, so that was kind of a weird play. But it telegraphs exactly Development, because if I take it and then attack back, he casts Development, which untaps the Gremlin, and has a 4-4 to block my 3-3 Healer. Great read, Traff. I think only Development makes perfect sense there. Like, it could be other things, but I think Development makes perfect sense. Okay, we're at 12. I'm not at that big of a risk of dying. Even though I want to cycle, I'm just casting a 5-5 haste, clearly. Attack with both. It's not like we die on the backswing from 11 if he has something. If not, we're way ahead. Please don't snipe anyone. If you're watching my stream, don't watch Preddy's stream. If you're watching both streams, stay totally silent. I don't mind chat help. Like, I talk, and that hurts my concentration. It's fun to get help from the chat and go back and forth, but don't snipe effectively. If you want to watch both streams, stay dead silent. If you want to watch only my stream, then you can participate in the actual playing. Okay, so. But that was a sick read, assuming it was a legit read. Alright, so where are we at? If we attack with both, and they double block the Serpent, we only trade for the 4-3, which is fine. We'd certainly rather cycle the Stinger than put it out, so that seems fine. I could Reunion away Great Shark and Caprador right now, but I could also just cast Caprador. I could cycle the Stinger pre-combat and see what I get. Doesn't really change anything for Preddy. Like, Preddy has to basically double block. I think I'm just going to start by cycling the Stinger. Who cares that I'm telling him I have a cycler? I don't think that's super relevant right now. He has a good double block on the Lava Serpent. So, I mean, I think I'm just going to cycle pre and see what I get. Okay, that's a card I want to discard to Reunion. So I think Great Shark's a pretty strong card. Caprador sucks. I think I'm going to now pre-combat Reunion, discard the Plains and the Caprador, and see what I get. Okay, I don't think there's too many choices. I'm happy now to trade down a little bit, a 5/5 for a 4/3. Who cares? Help clear the way. I'm just going to play another Marmoset post-combat here and then pass the turn after the double block. And now both Marmosets are threatening lethal next turn. I have one Cycler in hand. Caprador sucks. Like, it's okay. Like, I have Zenith and I have Shredded Sails and everything, but it's just not a good card. Okay, we don't have double blue. Again, Preddy's gonna block if I attack. There's no real reason, I don't think, not to just cycle pre-combat and see what we get. If he has nothing, it's game, of course. But if he has a removal, he's still just going to chump the other one. He's going to block either way. Now, we don't want to cycle again because, assuming he kills one Marmoset here and then blocks the other, well, even though this is super ugly, it's not like it was going to be different. If he would have blocked with Glimmerbell, I would have cycled, and then he would have still gotten the same play. So it's not like it was going to be any different. All right, though, so let's cycle, see what we get. I mean, we still just need an island to win the game, and we're at 10. Or a Zenith Flare if he doesn't top deck a counter. So yeah, that was an incredible top deck, but we're still looking pretty good. Now that the Clash is, I mean, the Reunion's in the yard, we can play our third Plains. And now it's game over. Yeah, double Clash, so we'll want to board out things that are bad against Clash. I don't think our deck is bad at all against Clash. Marmosets and Tacticians are 2/3s. We just have to play around it now that we know he has 2 of it. We didn't see any enchantments, right? We didn't see Capture Sphere. I cast Ultimatum to Lethal Numot once. I haven't cast Ultimatum much in this draft, but I mean, I lost that one absurd Game 2 to Mobius where it was a game-winning card in my hand, and then I cast it to Lethal Numot in Game 2, or in Game 3, one of the games we won. Okay, so let's see. Glimmerbells, Clash sucks against. We did see the 4/2, which it's good against. And then a 4/3, which it's good against. So Clash seems medium against him. We saw a 4/3 and a 4/2, which it's good against. And Gremlin and two 1/3s, which it's bad against. Volley can hit the 1/1. Did we see any other 1 toughness creatures? I don't think so. We want to take out, like, top-heavy creatures, but, I mean, Great Shark is a counterspell. Our 3-drops are all good, and then our 2-drops are some 2/2s. So our deck's really good against double Clash. It's not really something I'm super scared of. We just have to do a little more work to play around it, now that we know he has it. Certainly don't want to board in a 3/1 against the Clash deck, though, against the double Clash deck. I think we're just good to go. Oh yeah, the Clash was nice. And like I said, the cycling pre-combat doesn't change anything. He's at 3, so if I attack with both, he's going to block one with Glimmerbell, and then I'm going to cycle. So now that we know he has double Clash, it's a different ball game. We might go to great lengths to play around it. But, I mean, that game, I was going to attack and cycle after he blocked with Glimmerbell. So cycling pre-combat was still right. Alright, we'll start with one healer and see what's up. Don't know whether we're going to play the other one or not. Obviously, this looks like a flood hand, but it's... I mean, if we get to Ultimatum, we have double Ultimatum in the deck, so... For now, do we want to play the second healer or hold or cycle it? Against a double Clash deck, I don't think we're looking to have 2 2/2s out. I think we just start by cycling it, see what we get. Plains one of the worst draws in our deck. For Ultimatum, we need 3 red, 2 white, and 2 blue. So we just need 1 red. Cathartic would be awesome. I'm not sure whether to cycle the Serpent or not. I guess I have to, right? I mean, a 5/5 is great against these creatures. We're just too many turns away, I think. Gotta try and find something I can cast. No real help there. We have plenty of 3s, but I also could play a 3/6. A 3/6 is good against these creatures in a double clash deck, too. So I'm going to start by cycling the Wilt. See what we get. Okay, well, we have Ultimatum mana. I mean, of course, that's a while from now, and we don't have one yet, but I'll probably end up cycling this Vantasaur. Hopefully, we'll draw Flare or Reunion or Things to Do. I'm probably going to take my draw step and then decide, because it is a 1-mana cycler. Okay, well, now we have nothing to do, but a 3/6 is pretty good. Nah, this is going to grow this and this. I need to look for stuff. Cycle the Vantasaur. Not great, not horrible. Do I have a double block? If I double block the Tigorilla and it grows to a 5/4, it kills both, but I kill it. If I double block the Marmoset, it grows to a 3/4 first strike. That doesn't work. I don't really mind getting 2 for 1. I'm trying to draw one of my ultimatums, and I have 2 ultimatums and a lot of cyclers. It's not a good situation for me, but I think I just want this game to go long. So I think I'm going to play Marmoset and pass, assuming it resolves. If it gets countered, I'd probably attack, because I'd almost rather be attacked for 3 than have him grow both of these creatures. So now I have no block, so I might as well attack. Pretty much need to draw, like, Reunion or, like, Zenith Flare into Ultimatum or something like that. Which isn't likely, but cyclers do cycle. We have almost no lands left in our whole deck. Definitely in a rough spot, but if the top of my deck is super kind to me, I wouldn't say it's impossible we could win. Okay, well that doesn't help us on to game 3. So Archipelagor, we did see a 3/2 Archipelagor. The deck does look pretty vulnerable to Clash, potentially. Might want to bring that in. Not sure. I mean, Fight as 1 is good. Our removal's mostly unconditional. Is Caprador good? Not really. I just hate Caprador. I hate this card. I'm just going to swap that for Clash. Consider it a personal feud. Clash is good against Raptor, Tigorilla, and the 3/2 Menace creature. Also, if we clear those kind of bodies, then you can make Archipelagor bad, possibly. But it's not actually good against Archipelagor. Wow, this might be the first hand I have to mulligan. I hate mulliganing with a deck with double ultimatum and like this. But, I mean, what am I going to draw? Even if I draw planes, I don't have cyclers. Ugh, this hand sucks. I mean, this hand's not good, but it's better. Can't imagine it matters much what we bottom, because we have Reunion. We're not bottoming that, obviously. We want to play Stinger into Tactician if we can. I guess I'll just bottom the card I'd most want to have in my deck, if anything. I don't know if I have ways to shuffle or not. And then, of course, I have Reunion to pull up lands, so we're going to play the turn 2 Stinger here. See if we top deck that Plains. Hopefully we will. Finals of the draft. Don't mess with me now. I lost game 2 to Flood. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Not the best, not the worst. Don't know what to do. I could Sails the Glimmerbell. It's not really a very good use of a card, but it does get in 2 damage immediately. I guess I can start by cycling Crater and then make my decisions. Because it does cycle for 1, and I'm definitely not casting it. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now. And there's nothing wrong with salesing the Glimmerbell, but I don't think it's a great use of a card. Wish I didn't mulligan this game. Could play an island and pass. Well, there's not really anything to mutate on the cheap. I mean... Right, but the reason to sales now is because I get in 2 damage. If I'm going to sales it, I sales it now. I don't want to miss 2 damage. If I'm planning to cycle it end of turn, then I wait. But I think we need the cards in our hand. I think I have to ignore the Glimmerbell and the 2 damage. I think I have to just cycle the sales. Because we're looking for, like, planes to play Tactician. Also, Badlands can be discarded to Reunion. And we want to get to Ultimatum. Ultimatum is really how we win this game. I don't think salesing a 1-3 really fits our goals here. Yeah, I know there's Porky Parrot, and it's a little scary, but ultimately, I think we need to dig towards planes. I think we need to dig towards land drops and ultimatums. I just don't really see, I don't really see going down a card to kill a 1-3 as a winning play right now. Okay, I guess we start by cycling Serpent here. Can always Reunion later. Like, this is a pretty much dead mountain. I mean, we need a mountain or island to cast Ultimatum. So, I mean, we're trying to give ourselves the most cycling cards, get to the point where we know what to discard to Reunion. I mean, we're hoping to put together an Ultimatum here. Obviously, our situation isn't great, but we do have 2 Ultimatums and a Flare in that library. Okay, so we can cast that... and the mountain, and the Tactician. Or we could Reunion the mountain and what? I don't hate casting the Mana Rock, it's just, then what? I could Reunion Swallowhole and Mountain away. We didn't see that much removal. I think I like just casting everything here. Uses all our mana. We can still Reunion next turn. Like, if they don't have removal, I'll happily trade Tactician for Raptor, and I'm only taking 1. If they do have removal, I can discard Swallowhole to Reunion. And, like, the crystal's pretty good. Because we have 3 red, 2 blue, and a white. So we're only 1 white away now, effectively, from Ultimatum. We can cast either island... No, we have to play plains, because we need double white. We did see a scatter... So I think I'm just going to cycle Healer. I don't want to play it and get it scattered. We can always Reunion after cycling it, so there's almost no reason not to cycle it first. Clash doesn't work. So I'm going to Reunion now, I think. Okay, so I guess we can Blade Banish the 4-2. That seems fine. We still need plains and Ultimatum. This is not looking good now. I mean, that was a pretty ugly set of draws. I mean, obviously, if they don't add to the board, we're not under, like, serious pressure or anything. We're taking 1 a turn, assuming this Blade Banish hits this Raptor. Yeah, we have a 22-card deck now, some cyclers. We still need plains and Ultimatum, though, so I'm not loving life. Well, there's plains, so now we got to draw those 2 Ultimatums, the Zenith Flare. 21-card deck, a lot of cyclers. Some power cards. But that's a really bad card for us. It's a 2-turn clock. Now we got to draw it right now. That ain't it. We're dead. Pretty sad. Thanks, Mad Huggo. Appreciate that subscription. I would say the ball just didn't bounce our way there. I mean, double ultimatum, Zenith Flare in there. I think we played this game correctly. Maybe I could have held on to the reunion a little longer, but I don't think a 2-2 was really helping us. And if we played it and it got scattered, that would have been awful for us. So, you know, we cycle for the 3 new cards. We were already halfway through our deck. We've got the 2 ultimatums, not 1, plus the flare to draw into those new cards. Nah, I don't think we were short cards, so I don't think sailing the flyer would have been right. I think I stand by actually every play there. I mean, maybe I could have tried to get use out of the swallow hole, but ultimately we cycled all the cyclers. We cycled the removal. We didn't give them the opportunity to play scatter on our healer and go down a card. I don't think sailing the Glimmerbell was in any way necessary. I mean, we theoretically have another draw step, but we'd be down a card. He could just cast Archipelagor. Just tap 7 and cast it. I think everything I did that game was right. We just needed to find Plains and Flare or Ultimatum or whatever off of the reunion. I mean, the Clash was never going to take care of the 7/7. It wasn't working. Swallow Hole would have required a creature too. Pretty sure I did everything right. It just didn't line up. Sad little finals loss. Yeah, we kind of flooded both games, effectively. And I mean, when we're already halfway through our deck, and we're drawing 3 cards off Reunion, and like, we have a 22-card deck, but like, 5 or 6 of the cards cycle, too, remember? So it's pretty likely with the 3 new cards, we'll end up casting our ultimatums and cruising to victory. I think I did everything right. I think I gave myself the highest chance to just find the ultimatums and the Plains and Flare and get going. It just didn't happen. I would have liked to maybe play 1 less, but I don't think 15 was too many for a double Jeskai Ultimatum Cathartic Reunion deck. Like I said, things just line up how they line up. Sometimes you get flooded. Sometimes you get screwed. Like, that's magic. Thank you, the MDR. Appreciate the subscription. No, I think that's the last round. That's the end of it. We lost the finals. We went 2-1. Like I said, good draft. I don't think it lined up well. Think those were very winnable games if we didn't flood, if we drew a little better. I actually think every decision I made in Game 3 was right, even though there was a lot of hard, close ones. Going down a card to Sails, at the end of it, we were short cards, basically. And, like, playing healer, it could have been scattered. Again, I mean, look, it happens. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to be done for the day. I know it was a short day. I'm going to be testing Standard for the Arena Open tomorrow. I'm probably going to stream it on a delay, so check that out tomorrow if you want. These are fun. Shout out to Lola Man for putting this together. I hope to be participating in all of these streamer challenges. They are a good time. From now, of course, I'm going to finish by rating somebody. Let me see who's on. Who's staying on drafting while I go test some Standard. Well, Numot's playing chess. Is anybody drafting? Foxy's playing Little Nightmares. I don't even know what that is. The Ham's drafting. So I'm going to finish off by rating Ham TV, Kyle Rose, for those familiar with him.
What is it?
And check me out tomorrow for the Arena Open. Like I said, if I get like no sleep or something, I might not. Otherwise, I'll just stream it on a 5-minute delay or something reasonable.
I believe they're up there tonight, right now.
Well, I knew Numa was playing the Super Qualifier. I might have queued up rating him, but his thing says chess. So I don't know. Maybe he just didn't change the stream title.
There's something in the
but
sky.
the Ham's drafting. So check out Kyle Rose drafting. Thank you everybody who tuned in for this short stream, the Streamer Challenge.
Some unexpected
I will be back
cards.
most likely tomorrow, but it'll be Standard. I'll be most likely playing the Arena Open and
My
streaming it.
connection isn't doing anything. I don't think
Good
I'm
luck
gonna
to
try
everybody
play
else who's
slots,
playing it.
but
I'm
this
sure I'm
is
not the only one here
I
planning to
don't
play
have
the
anything
Arena
to do
Open.
except
If you don't know what I'm talking about and you play any Standard, check it out. It's a pretty sweet event.
So
I'd
if I
like to
play
see it have a
black,
good
it's just
turnout
for
because
some
I would like to
removal,
see
I guess.
something
I'm
like it every
basically
single
splashing
weekend
white
on
as well.
Arena. So I'm hoping this is the
Yeah, I
future
went
of Magic
2-1,
and the
but I
future of
lost
online
round
Magic.
one,
So definitely check out the Arena Open tomorrow. If you play
really
Standard and you're playing
I mean,
it,
it's
good
a
luck.
2-1.
If you don't and you want to see what it's about, then tune into my stream and I'll be playing it and streaming it. For now, I'm going to
never
raid
have
Kyle,
chance.
so everybody have a good weekend.
I guess I want more cyclers probably with 2 Zenith flares.